Well, today we are doing some awesome DIYs using Dollar Tree wooden boxes. And as always, I hope you enjoy the show. So these are those Dollar Tree trays with the hearts on the end. I know a lot of you are always wondering what we can do with these, and I had a great idea. So I'm going to go ahead and take some wood glue and some hot glue and glue 3 of these trays together. I did use a clamp. Now the only problem when I use the clamp, because these trays are not perfect, they're warped a little bit, they're not all the same size. They're close enough, but when I pressed the clamp really tight, it kind of put a little bit of a gap in between the trays. So we're going to come up with a solution here in just a minute. You can see it, right? See how it's kind of like tight, but it's bent upwards, and I'm bending it down right now on the left side, kind of pulling it down, because I definitely am one of those people that I will notice if the tray, the whole unit or whatever, isn't straight. So in order to make it straight, I had to sacrifice a little bit of a gap. You can see it right there. So this is going to be the back side, and I'm just securing it with some craft sticks. And on the front, I wanted it to have more character, and not only will it have more character, I'm going to go ahead and add some detail here with craft sticks so that it covers the seams, particularly the one that has the little gap now. I love this saw. For those of you that are interested, I get a lot of questions about this saw. It's down below in my description box. It's one of the links to Amazon. It's great. It's made crafting a lot easier. It just goes really fast now. But as you can imagine, I craft a lot. If you don't craft a lot, that isn't necessary. But if you enjoy crafting, that is a really great, put it on your Christmas list. So I went ahead and I cut the craft sticks down, and I'm just doing some fine tuning right now with sanding to make sure there's no splinters, because these trays do have a lot of rough edges and splinters, so you do have to give them a good sand. And we're just going to use some wood glue and some hot glue and glue the craft sticks over each one of those ends. Hopefully you can tell what a big difference that made, and now the wood is all straight. And I gave it a sand. It left some gray behind. I didn't know why it did that. It never does that, but I didn't worry about it because we're going to stain this. So I'm using some antique wax, and to make it a little bit more like a dark walnut, we're going to add a little bit of black paint, and then I'm going to add a little bit of water. I don't have exact measurements for this, but it's almost kind of foolproof. So hopefully you could see what I did by either. That's an applesauce cup. There was about an 1/8 inch of wax in there, and then I maybe put like a teaspoon of black in there. And you can always add more. Go slow at first just so that you don't make it too dark. But I even had to make some more of this, and it wasn't an exact match, but it still matched, if that makes sense. So it's, don't be nervous, just go ahead and give it a try. So at first I took a baby wipe and I was staining it, and then I decided it was easier to use the brush, slap it on there, and then use the baby wipe to kind of smear it around. And you just kind of go with how the wood feels. I noticed when the wood was really rough and really difficult and it was tearing up the wipe, I used the brush. That was easier. And then for the smooth parts, I stuck with the baby wipe. So we're just going to give this whole piece a stain, both on the sides, the front, and the back. So then I tried to stain some of the areas on the trays here, and when the Dollar Tree glues them together, or the factory does, that they order from, they do get glue on the seams, and that does not take a stain. So the way you solve that is you have to use paint. I just took some nutmeg brown from Apple Barrel paint and some black paint. See, I'm showing you right there. That would not stain because it had like the adhesive on there. And then that was a perfect match just to touch it up, and I went all over this wherever I saw that happening. Anywhere where there was wood left behind, I just took a little brush, took my time, and covered it all up. So I just did that by eye. I felt like nutmeg brown with black would be a identical match, and I got really lucky with that. It was. So next we're taking the nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. I just measured out 2 even loops, and then I'm twisting the top with some smaller twine from Walmart. It's not the small twine from Dollar Tree. It's a little bit bigger than that. It's from Walmart. Also a really good deal. And I just tucked the loops underneath, and we're gonna lift this baby up. For this one, we're going to use 4 of these Dollar Tree wood boxes and these 2 arrows from the Dollar Tree. Now this is definitely an inspired craft where I saw it somewhere. I'm not sure where I saw it. Knowing me, it's probably Pinterest, but it was last year. So I didn't take a screenshot. I just remembered, oh, those arrows work for that. So that's a great idea. So whoever did that, if you guys know the original creator for this, leave a comment down below. I will give them a shout out on a pinned comment at the top of the comment thread. But for now, and by the way, that's my table shaking. That is not the camera. The camera's actually on a shelf that is attached to the wall. Sorry about that. But I just went ahead and pulled that twine out, removed the staples, sanded it, and now we're doing the same exact thing. You guys know the drill. We are just taking wood glue and some hot glue, and we're gluing them together in sets of 2. I'm just taking off the stickers, and they come off super easy, by the way, and doing wood glue on the edges and just a tiny bit of hot glue right where there it is, right there at the point, just to tack it down literally, because you do have that opening on the side, so you don't have a lot of freedom where you can put the hot glue, but you get it in there just so you can keep moving. Actually, if you guys have clamps, you don't need the hot glue if you're not filming. It's only because I have to keep moving, so I have to be very, very creative how to get everything to stay together. But anyway, this worked. Now the top shelf was a little more tricky. I went with just the wet glue on the sides and used the clamps because I have, like I said before in the first DIY, I have to have it even and straight. So once it was even and straight, I just did a super thin ribbon of hot glue underneath like a little shelf, and that just held it up, and then the clamps held it. So here at the Dollar General, they have these awesome $1 wood stakes. I think you might be able to get them at Walmart, but honestly, don't quote me on how much those are at Walmart. I don't know, but I've heard people say they can find them there sometimes. So I grabbed them for crafting, and here I'm just measuring it out because I felt like the top of this needed some character, and I also wanted it for practical purposes so that I could lift it. And here I am again using that saw. So if you do get this saw and you cut these sticks or any kind of garden stake, you'll see me here go first. I go one way and then I turn it around because the blade isn't actually deep enough to get the whole entire wood piece. You just have to flip it over and go backwards, and boom, you're all done, and it works brilliantly. I'm sanding it now to get the pen mark off. I just glued this on the top, and instead of just making it square because that didn't really look quite right, I went where I turned the point up at the corner point. Sorry, I'm out of camera view. This was getting really big and it was really hard to keep in the camera view at this point, but I just glued it so that the points kind of meet the points here. You can see it now at the top. Looked really good. So I'm doing the same thing here with the wax and the black paint that I did in the first DIY to get a nice dark walnut color, and I'm doing a combination again of the baby wipe and the brush, just depending on where I am with the wood and what the wood feels like. And I do the exact same thing with the matched paint as well to touch up all the little areas where the stain didn't take because the glue was stopping it from doing that. And that's it. I love the way that this came out. It is so handy. It is easily, look how nice that is. And the wood glue makes it so sturdy because it can hold a ton of weight. That paint's pretty heavy when it's all up there. So you could use it like this. I'm showing you as an example. You could put your craft paints in it, but I'm actually going to use it for this. This is my kitchen counter. I keep my supplements out or I won't remember to take them. That's just the reality. My husband and I won't remember. So this looks so much neater. The little handle on the top even allows me to take it in and out of the cupboard. I'm absolutely in love with this. For this project, I just grabbed a Dollar Tree wooden crate right there, and I am choosing the color Plaster in Waverly chalk paint. You can paint this any color you want. I just want it to be a nice soft creamy white color, and we're going to give this one coat because it only needs one coat with the chalk paint. You definitely don't need two, but this would also look pretty if you had like a whitewash on it too. So if you do have a thinner paint like Apple Barrel or any acrylic paint, because they're not usually as thick as chalk paint, and you saw a little bit of wood grain through, it still will look really nice. So we're just giving it one coat. on the sides, the bottom, inside, everywhere. We're just making the whole thing a nice creamy white. I chose this fabric for this DIY, and I feel like maybe it came off wrong on the press there with the colors because it's like an aquamarine. I love the print, but it's not the right color green. It should be more like a St. Patrick's Day green. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but everything looks like when my printer doesn't have enough ink. So I was wondering if this was the way it was supposed to come out. But the fabric that I really wanted to use, that I originally had in mind, was this navy blue small check that I ended up using for a previous DIY, so I didn't have it available, but I think I am going to go back and switch this up and recover it with the other material. But for now, we're using this one, so I still want to show you my idea. You just cut a little square out here, and you're basically making a little mini pillowcase. You're just taking your hot glue, and you're going to glue the bottom, the sides, and then you're going to leave just the top open so that you can put some stuffing inside it. And don't forget to do that with the outside of your fabric facing each other so that when you turn it inside out like a little pillowcase, your seams will be nice and neat and you'll have the right side up. So I had some polyfiber fill that was like batting for quilts. It was flat, and word to the wise, it is better to leave it flat. If I had to do it again, I would just fold it on top of each other, because it comes in like a flat piece, like a quilt. I would just fold it and fold it and fold it and make it really, really puffy, and then just push the whole thing inside my little mini pillowcase and glue it down, and that way I wouldn't deal with any lumps or bumps whatsoever. But we're making a little pin cushion, you guys. I don't have one, and I need one, and I don't have any pins because I didn't have a pin cushion to put my pins. So now we're all ready to go. I have a little pin cushion, and I think this is a great idea. And I am taking off the stickers, and I just left it in here to show you how easy they remove and they don't leave any residue, which is awesome. This is a piece of wood that I actually got at Lowe's, but they sell the exact same wood already sanded, ready to go from Dollar Tree in different cuts. Not this tall though. This one's about 23 inches high, and it's because I wanted to use the fork rate. So now I'm using my trusty dusty little saw. I love this thing. This wood is too thick to cut it with this, so what I do is I just cut it on one side, then flip it over and cut it on the other side. I just keep nibbling away at it, and this one was a little uneven, so you can even take just thin shavings off and get it more straight. Now I do wear goggles when I use this saw. It does spit off a lot of sawdust. Not too bad, but I mean, you still are working with sawdust, so you should be careful. And I'm giving it a quick sand now with the sandpaper first, just a fine grit just to smooth it down, and then in the ends here I'm being a little more aggressive with a nail file. And that's because I wanted to even out the ends to make them nice and flat, so I needed some harder grit, and I only had the nail file. Now I'm using wood glue and hot glue combination here, and I am going to start gluing my crates at an angle up the strip here, but I do measure first with pencil, so I put the crate where I want it. You'll see me do it here in a minute, and then I mark it. I'm already getting hot glue all over my fingertips, you guys. I'm such a mess when I craft. I swear I need a drop cloth or something. There I am. I'm marking it so you can see what I did right there. And I'm also going to take some of the Dollar Tree towering blocks, and I'm going to go ahead and glue them on the back of these, or what will be the black or back, just for extra support. I also use a combination of hot glue and wood glue for those as well. And I put the wood glue on one side. The wood glue actually sticks on the crate, and then I use the hot glue to stick down on the strip. I want to call it a furring strip. It might be a furring strip. I'm not 100% positive. That might be the name of the wood strip that I bought. So I believe they come in either, I think it's 8 feet, and I had them cut it in half for me, and I bought 2 of them. Now I'm using the Dollar Tree rectangle wood right there that you could buy, those little rectangles, and I'm using, again, combination of hot glue and wood glue for a permanent hold, and I'm just going to use that as the base so it stands up and it's more sturdy. So the wood glue is going to be good, just as good as nails for those of you that aren't familiar with wood glue. When you do it on raw wood like this, it sticks like screws, basically. It sticks, the molecules actually bond with the glue, so it is a great glue It is the only glue really to use with raw wood if you don't want to deal with screws or nails. So now I'm taking burnt umber and black paint and a little bit of water. I watered it down to make a homemade stain, and I'm just painting this all up. And then where the stain didn't take, either from glue or just from the wood grain being kind of weird, I just took a little bit of the paint, not watered down, and it was a little bit darker, like black almost, so it looked more like shadows. I always do this just to touch up wherever the wood didn't stain, and sometimes it does it from the Dollar Tree because there is glue holding the crates together, so they don't always stain evenly. So you do have to kind of take your time and go around everything, and you have to use a little brush to go in the grooves. There I go, right there. That's what I'm talking about, just to make sure everything's covered up. So this did take a little bit of time, but it's worth it. It came up so beautiful, and it's so useful. Here it's staged as towels. I love to provide guest towels in my bathroom for guests, so they have something clean. I either do paper towels or real towels like this, but I'm actually going to use it this way with toilet paper, and it's great. The toilet paper kind of lays on top of the crate, and you have like a secret cubby underneath where you can store like personal items or whatever you need near you when you're on the toilet, I guess. So love this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. This one I grabbed a trellis from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to start by taking a craft stick and just making my holes where I need them to be. So this is going to be my template, just screwing some holes in it. And then I'm going to lay it down on top of my crate and mark that with a pencil. Once I marked it off, I just go ahead and cut it at the end, and that way it's going to be the perfect template to get me the, I hope this explains it. Sometimes it's hard to explain, but see what I'm doing there? Now I have like a little template, and the holes are going to be consistent on my crates. Next, I'm going to take my cute little drill, and I'm going to go ahead and start drilling my holes. Now I'm using the nail file again just to file off like the inside where it kind of puffed out a little bit from the drilling. And we are going to go and paint every single one of these crates in black paint, because the trellis that I chose, Dollar Tree sells like a green one, but they also sell a black one. I chose the black one. There's the trellis, and here are the nylon cable ties that they also sell at the Dollar Tree that you'll need. Or you could use just plain wire too, or hooks. You know, there's several ways you can go about hanging these on here, and you just go in. Well, for me, I'm just taking the zip ties, and I'm going to go ahead and zip tie these on. Then I decided to go ahead and add some hot glue in the middle just to hold it together, and we are all done. For this next one, I just grabbed this Dollar Tree little pig, and I'm breaking off the bottom. It comes off pretty easy. I did have to grab my tin snips right there and snip the bottom wood off so that it's nice and flat and just looks a little cleaner. And then I have this paper, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Now, I don't know if you notice what it says on it, like White House Coffee. It talks about tea. It is like the perfect little coffee bar, tea area, paper type stuff. So I'm making this for my kitchen, and I'm just using a glue stick. I'm going to glue it down. I'm taking scissors just to initially cut off like the bulk of it, and then I'm going to use a nail file just to finish it off so the edges are nice and clean. And I do believe the link for that paper is in the description box. If it isn't and you're interested in it, let me know, leave a comment, and I will send you the link. Now I'm taking the crate, and I'm just going to slap it with some apple barrel white acrylic paint, and I'm using this Dollar Tree tag. I wrote the word yum on it, and to cover that hole, I'm using a little half wooden bead right there. I just didn't want to do a bow. And then to get this puppy started, I am going to hot glue its little feet down on the top of the crate, but it does require more support. So I'm just using some skewer sticks here, and I'm cutting them down to size, and gluing them on the back, and I used 4 altogether. And then I'm going to cut off with some cuticle clippers right here. I love cuticle clippers. You guys, if you do not have that in your craft room, get them. They are one of the best crafting tools, but I'm just removing the excess hot glue so it looks nice and neat. And we're all done. And this is so, so cute. You could put creamers in here. I'm going to use it for some tea bags, but I just think this is such a cute, happy, decorative little storage area. For this one, I am just cutting down a Christmas print. You can use any print. You can skip the print if you want. For those of you wondering where I got that Santa print, it's from a Temu package that I bought about 2 years ago, and I'm still going through them. I'm trying to use what I have. And now I'm using some of the Folk Art Antique Wax as a stain, and I'm just using a brush and painting it on. I didn't water, actually this might have a little tiny bit of water in it because I think it's running low and I may have added a little bit of water, which I like to do because it makes it slip and slide better. And I'm just staining the Dollar Tree crate and the Dollar Tree birdhouse, and I'm going to give it a blow dry so we can move forward here. And now I have the $1.25 wood dowels. You can find those also in the Crafter's Square section at Dollar Tree. And that's good news, actually. I heard the crafting stuff is not going up, so we're still going to be at $1.25 for that. And I use my trusty little saw. I love that thing. If you're interested in it, again, the link is down below in my description box. And I also tag it in my video so you guys can find it because it's made crafting so fun and so much easier. I wish I had gotten it years ago. And I'm just, okay, so with the picture here, you saw me tear the edges. I just like to do that so it looks a little distressed, and I just like that look. You can skip that if you don't like it. And I used a glue stick to glue it on, and now I'm cutting it, and I'm actually allowing the image to fall down into the crack there. I didn't remove it because I want the complete image, and of course his little face is part of the image, so I didn't want to take his face out. And I'm using the Dollar Tree spatula there. It's just a silicone spatula they sell in the makeup section that I use for usually hot glue. So then I added the little wooden beads. We're going to stain those later. And now I just want to frost these things up so it looks like there's snow. I'm adding some white paint, just using the little sponge brush. Again, I think the sponge brush, it is. The set is also from Dollar Tree, those little sponge brushes. And I'm just going around the top of the crate, the sides. I'm trying to think wherever it would kind of naturally frost if this was outside, on the ledges. And then I go around my picture because I want it to look kind of like a window, I guess, a frosted window, just that illusion. You can do this however you want, of course. This is definitely where you're, just have fun. That's the fun thing. Crafts, you're creative. Just be creative and have a good time. It makes it so many people stress about it. They'll write to me and go, oh, that didn't, and it's like, it's okay. It looks beautiful. Just have fun. So anyway, I am now going to add some of the Mod Podge on the top of the birdhouse, and I started off with baking soda for the snow, and it just didn't have enough glitter and sparkle and just that kind of magical Christmas feel to it. So I thought, I put some more Mod Podge on top of the baking soda, and then I added my glitter. That did the trick, by the way. Look at that. It just ended up sparkling so pretty. And of course I made sure I had a little bit on the, right there, a little bit on the edge where the bird would, that little perch right there, where a bird would sit, I guess. And of course we have to frost up the little dowel as well. Then I took some Dollar Tree foam that I had left over, and I just glued it down in the crate, and I pushed the dowel down inside that. And I'm putting Spanish moss on top of everything to cover it up. And then we're just going to go about adding like embellishment and stuff on top of the Spanish moss to make this, and again, this gets so fun because you could put whatever you want inside the crate to make it Christmassy. You could make it a winter DIY. You could even do this. This would actually make a really pretty Easter or spring DIY too. This is definitely interchangeable. You could leave the frost off and just leave it stained, and you could make it for Christmas, and then you could take the Christmas stuff out and put the Easter eggs in and Easter stuff. Fall, you could do the same thing with fall. I put snow on mine, so I think I'm kind of committed here to Christmas or winter, but that's what I wanted. Anyway, so I'm just adding some berries. So at first I put the bird in there, and I put some of the berries underneath him to hold him up, and then he just wasn't kind of staying down very well, so I ended up taking a Dollar Tree skewer right here, skewing the little birdie, and that's also a Dollar Tree little red, I think it's a red cardinal, and I ended up skewering him and then putting him down in the foam. That way, that did the trick. And I'm just adding like antique bells in there. I believe I got those from Amazon. Berries, pine cones, just Christmas stuff. And I made a little raffia bow, and I did end up putting a tall piece of pine behind the birdhouse. See on the left-hand side there, I just thought that created a beautiful silhouette. And now, of course, I have to frost everything that I put inside the crate so it matches, and we're all done. And I think this is such a beautiful, and it could be a four-season decor piece, but I think it's such a beautiful Christmas craft. I would love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. If you had as much fun as I did today, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video, here's another one I think you'll enjoy watching next.